How we doing, guys? Welcome to the preview and the predicted lineup. Manchester City against Arsenal. It's the big one. It's now or never. Do or die. It's as simple as that. Whoever wins this game tonight wins the Premier League. It doesn't get any bigger. I'm really struggling in certain aspects of tonight's game because as a fan, your heart will always tell you one thing, which is we're going to win. We are the best in the world. And then your head says it's going to be really difficult and you're probably going to lose and you're not the best in the world. But listen, this is what, being a fan of football clubs is all about. These are those moments. And if you can't get up for these kind of games, if you can't feel excited, if you can't, really feel it, then you probably need to go and watch something else. But it doesn't get any bigger. And it's, I think of games from the past. I'm old enough to remember previous title wins. And I think of, Anfield 89, Old Trafford when we won the league, White Hart Lane. And it was the anniversary yesterday, when we won the league at White Hart Lane. But for all of you that are not old enough to know, Anfield 89, if there was social media about in 1989, there would have been absolute meltdowns. We had 3 games to go. We needed 4 points from those 3 games, and we were champions. And we had Derby County at home, and we had Wimbledon at home before we went to Anfield. We lost to Derby County at home, and we drew 2-2 at home to Wimbledon. And I remember that same midweek, Liverpool played West Ham at home and they beat them 5-1. And it then meant we had to go to Anfield, final game of the season, and win by 2 clear goals. Now, for all of you that don't know, Liverpool in the 80s were what Manchester City are now. They were the dominant side. They were the team that was beating everyone. You were never going to Anfield and winning, let alone winning by 2 clear goals. And it was just mad. Like I said, if there was social media when we lost to Derby and drew to Wimbledon, and even when we went up to Anfield, George Graham went and completely changed everything around, and Steve Bold was wearing the number 10 shirt and added an extra layer to the defence. And I can just imagine now when the team lineup comes out, social media will be like, hold on a minute, what's going on here? But it worked and we won. And we need to go into this game tonight with that same mindset of these are what you look for and pray for as players. When the title is in your hands and you've got everything there. And it's that simple. We go and win our last 6 games. We're the champions. We don't need to rely on anybody else. But you lose this game tonight, Manchester City go 2 points behind us and have 2 games in hand. They win those 2 games in hand, and you effectively then need them to drop points in 2 games out of 5 remaining. That I just can't see happening. That's why it's so big, given the fact that we've dropped, 6 points in the last 3 games. We could have been going to the Etihad tonight, 11 points clear. Absolutely calm as anything. A draw puts it in Man City's favour, just about, but you need, them to drop points in 1 game. Just a draw will do. But yeah, just go there and play. Just go there and win. And I've seen so many lineups. I've seen so many predictions of what the 11 will be. The reality is that Mikel Arteta's probably going to play Rob Holding. He probably will. I don't agree with it. He will probably go with it. And it will end up being a masterstroke, or it will come back to bite us in the backside. But some of the lineups I've seen, there's way too many changes. They want us to change this player and that player and that. There's like 3, 4, 5 different changes and personnel coming into different areas. Too many square pegs, round holes. But with the starting 11, I'm going to give you what I would go with and the reasoning behind it. So in goal, Aaron Ramsdale. Very, very straightforward. Right back, Ben White. See a lot of people saying bring him into centre back. Put Thomas Partey at right back. And I know Thomas Partey's played at right back for Atletico Madrid. And if Diego Simeone has done it, then who am I to say the opposite? But I think that Ben White is so important to the way that Bukayo Saka plays. And the fact that Nathan Ake is not playing for Manchester City and they do have a problem on that left-hand side, we need to exploit it. The one thing we can't do is change that area and then Saka is not effective because he hasn't got Ben White overlapping and doing the things that they do together. So I wouldn't change that side. I would keep Ben White there. Centre-backs, Gabriel and Thomas Partey. Now, Thomas Partey has played as a centre-back. Now, I've watched the Southampton game back and he was very much playing as the deep-lying centre-back in that game. I don't know whether it was something that just happened. I don't know whether it was something they were trying. But again, like I said, Thomas Partey's played it. He's done it. I think that he's got the capabilities of doing it. And he is also able to be calm on the ball and play out. As long as he doesn't start, trying them silly little flicks like he did with Declan Rice. But he has the capabilities of doing it. And I think that will end up making Gabriel more comfortable because even he's looked a little bit shaky over recent games. And it's because he hasn't got Saliba there. It's as simple as that. On the left-hand side, Zinchenko. Talk about Tierney and everything else. I play Zinchenko. Just like we did when we went to Anfield, there was question marks because of what Mo Salah would do. Gabriel comes across and acts as that cover. He was excellent against Mo Salah. So I would go with the same again. I really would. And I know you're going to probably go up against the likes of Riyad Mahrez, but it's what we got to do. In the midfield, Jorginho played in the last game against Manchester City when we played at the Emirates. I thought he'd done really well, really good performance. Has played Man City multiple times, so experienced, calm on the ball. I have no problems with him playing there if Thomas Partey is behind. Also, Granit Xhaka. Now, if Granit Xhaka's not available, because at the moment we're hearing he might not be, then I would have Trossard, not Vieira. Absolutely no chance. Don't make that mistake again, especially at the Etihad. So I would have Granit Xhaka because he's so important. But if he's not available, then Trossard. On the right-hand side, as I've already explained, Bukayo Saka, need a big performance from him. He's going up against a left-hand side that has got vulnerability. And if we can win the ball, break quick, he's going to be important. In the middle, Martin Odegaard. Captain's performance, need him to be on it, need him to dictate, need him to get on the ball. It's as simple as that. Left-hand side, Martinelli. Again, if we win the ball, we break, he is going to be so important. That is where Man City can be exploited, on the break, in the channels. So Martinelli, simple as that. Up front, striker, Jesus. See some people this week talking about they want him to, not start the game. And I'm like, really? He's got 4 in 4. Yes, his finishing against Southampton was not the greatest, but his overall play is really good. The way he pins back the defenders and links everyone else. Prime example was our 3rd goal against Southampton. The way he pinned the defender back, laid it into Reece Nelson, and then we end up scoring from it. And he was doing that all second half. And the one thing I will say is that if you need a striker against Manchester City, then the player you want is the former Man City player. There is going to be no striker that knows Man City's defence better than Gabriel Jesus. He will know their strengths, their weaknesses. Would have come up against it multiple times in drills, in training. And for me, he starts all day long. He's going to have something to prove. Haaland, unbelievable player. Obviously why Man City went and did what they did. But for Gabriel Jesus, he will look and say, I want to prove a point. I want to, score a goal, derail them and show, that they made a mistake getting rid of me. That's what will be in his mindset. And he starts all day long. So There we go. That is it for the preview and the predicted lineup. As usual, let me know in the comment section whether you agree or disagree with that starting 11. If you would change things, what would you change? Like I said, be very careful before you start changing multiple positions. You're talking about Thomas Partey right back, Ben White centre back, Jorginho, Xhaka coming out, and there's too many square pegs in round holes. There's too many changes in multiple positions, and you've also got to think of what it does going forward. Like I said, if Ben White is not playing as right back, that will affect Saka. Thomas Partey is not going to be getting up as a right back and doing what Ben White does. And Man City's left-hand side is vulnerable, so you've got to exploit it, which is why I'm keeping it as the way it is. So think about it before you actually, you know, come up with a starting 11. I think that this one is solid. It's the least amount of changes as we could possibly have, and I feel that we can cause problems in attack. I really do. It's going to be a mad game. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you lot are too. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.